Welcome, everyone. We are live. We are live. It's Tuesday. Yay! We're here, y'all. We're here. Um, Today we're talking about what trying causes. When you say, "Oh, I'm gonna try," I'm gonna try. We don't try. We do. I know we've heard Yoda say it many, many times. Do or do not. There is no try. We've heard it, but do we grasp what it means? If I say to my Roo, if I say it a little bit, try to crow. Try to crow a little bit.
Morning.
Good.
It works now.
Yay. I'm pleased. I'm pleased. Thank you, Miss McQueen. See, I'm glad it works. I'm glad. See? So this is what we're talking about. Trying.
Mhm.
I just told Lil Bit to try and crow, and he's gonna make me look bad. See, he's trying right now, but is he doing it? Right? Like
Right.
this is the thing I'm trying to convey to people on a daily basis. Cuz YouTube, everybody's going this morning. Everybody's live this morning, and I want us to grasp the difference between trying and doing. So mentally, when we try to do something, your brain says, what do you mean try? Do. If I say, well, get in and try to drive the car. Mm, do you know how to drive? If you've learned how to drive, you'll drive. You don't try to drive. Just like itty bitty, he's not gonna try and crow. When they start, like when Biscuit was starting to crow, he wasn't trying it on. He was just doing something that came from him. He was what? Doing. So even if you say, well, I don't know how to do that, what do we naturally do? We learn how to do it so that we can do it. See, we're only ever rehearsing. So when you're telling yourself, oh, I'm going to try, I don't know if I can. Like right now this morning, I was a little tardy because, well, I'm making cinnamon buns, but focaccia style, so sourdough. So you know how you make a focaccia, right? And you dimple it and blah blah blah. So the dough is resting for an hour, and then I'll stretch and fold. And when I'm done stretching and folding, I'll get ready for work so I can go. But am I trying to bake them? No, I'm testing it out. I have to do it. So when you tell yourself, "Well, I'm trying," no, 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 that does something completely different. You're saying to yourself, "I don't know how to do this, and I can't do it." Whereas we are designed to learn. We're always learning. And I marvel at the fact as to how people think that AI is this new creation. When really it is not. It is just a mirror. It is showing you that you are always learning. AI is quote unquote always learning. Always learning. Why does it learn? So it can do. You need another reason? And we're so fascinated by it. And I'm like, dude, we are the original. We are the original. So this is why we have the potential to learn. And it's not idle potential that just sits there. It's kinetic. You use it, you do it. So if you say, I don't know, then naturally you are inspired to learn. It just happens naturally. So, well, I don't know this. And then this curiosity rises up and you learn. And then when you learn it, you do it. You see what happens there? So, when you want to change your life to become someone else, not someone is, oh, I want to be George today. That's not what I'm talking about. When you want to become the man or woman you want to be, that mental attitude is what you're going to learn and practice. What is the mental attitude of a confident person? We had our meeting last night, our homeschooling meeting, and it was like almost like I wasn't there. I was just a fly on the wall. Because as homeschoolers, I opted to not do any testing, right? Because testing doesn't tell me what he knows. It tells me what he can regurgitate. I want to know what he comprehends. So this is why I allow the two of them to speak to one another. So the facilitator comes in and he speaks with Noah, and he knows him. He gets a sense of who and what he is, and he just and he doesn't, in the court of law, he says, objection, leading the witness. No, there's no leading here. He just simply asks questions to engage him and draw him out. And it was very interesting because he looks at me and he goes, how is it that he understands so much and he can teach me what he understands? I'm like, because the whole point of learning is to understand. Comprehension. You must comprehend what it is that you're learning. If you don't comprehend it, you contemplate and you just sit until it makes sense. Or you talk it out till it makes sense. But the way to know what you comprehend, as within, so without, you begin to share. And he says to me, well, he learns so quickly. And I'm like, well, I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know what to tell you. This is just how we roll at this house. Right. And so it's just one of these things. I use my son as the example a lot because this is what I live. This is my life. He didn't know how to cook. He came to me one day and he says, Ma, I want to learn how to cook something. I said, what do you want to eat? And he told me. And I said, all right, here's what we're going to do. I will show you. But when I show you, I'll be showing you with words, and you will do what I'm showing you. And now he makes a beautiful medium steak. Don't come for me if you're vegetarian. He knows how to wash the meat, season the meat, tidy up after the meat. Listen, because he showed an interest and he said, I want to learn how to do this. I said, why do you want to learn how to do it? He goes, because if you're not here, I can feed myself. What better answer than that? So you see, we don't just go out there and just learn for the sake of learning. We learn what we are curious about. So it removes this word trying. Replace it perhaps with learning, because learning implies that you are testing it out, rehearsing it, getting it right, doing it. That's what learning implies. The outcome of learning is doing. The outcome of trying is not doing. It's a different state of mind altogether. There's a frustration that comes with trying. But if you pay attention, you'll notice that even when you're quote unquote trying, you have to do. You're in the midst of doing. So the word trying, you see, my grandmother always used to say, well, you trying my patience today. You trying my patience. Testing. That's what the word trying means. You're testing. That's the true sense of the word trying. Right? So when you want to change your life, we get caught up in that word trying. Like in the manifestation community, everybody's quote unquote trying to manifest. And they get frustrated because allegedly they don't see any changes. Well, they don't see any changes because they haven't changed. How can you see what's you have not become? You have to see what you are at all times. And so for a lot of people in the manifestation community, they say, "Well, I tried this. I told you it yesterday." Sure, you tried, but what are you doing? What are you doing? So when you hear that word trying, it implies you don't know, you don't comprehend, and there's a level of frustration that comes with it. If you listen to people say, "Well, I tried this, I tried that, nothing works," blah, blah, there's a level of frustration. So perhaps if we use the word learning, I am learning, because learning implies that the eventuality is comprehension. And what we comprehend, we're going to do, right? So if you say, "I've been trying to get this job," trying to get the job. Hello? Trying? If you know what job you want or career you want to be in, there's a level of curiosity that arises naturally from you. And you say, "Oh, yes, I got this, I got that." Yeah, but Angela, what about imposter syndrome? What if I don't feel as if I'm qualified? What if you don't what? Feel as if feel as if you're qualified? Are you or are you not? If you've gone to school and you graduated your program and you've proven yourself that you understand, well, then are you not qualified? So then it's not that you feel or don't feel, it's the mentality. If you don't change that mentality, you can't try to change that mentality. You have to change it. Are you or are you not qualified? Did you learn the stuff? So if you learned the stuff, show me what you learned. This is how you get it out of yourself. What did you learn? You have to now do it. There's always that practicum, right? The practical portion is for you to show as within, so without, which means you have to learn and then apply. Learn and apply. As you are learning, you build something within yourself as you learn. But you see, we take that portion for granted. And in the manifestation community, they just talk about, "Oh yeah, you can manifest this, you can manifest that." But they never tell you that as within, so without. And this is why a lot of people do not, quote unquote, believe in manifestation. And the beautiful thing is this: with the principles, you don't have to believe them, you just have to observe them. It's not about just, "Oh, I'm going to follow blindly." No, observe. When you mix a flower that is alive with water and let it sit, it ferments and it begins to bubble, aka sourdough. What did I do? My job was just to mix the flour and the water. Then what else can I do? Nothing but wait, because it will do cause and effect. Cause and effect every single time. So you don't force the change to happen. You look at what it is you want to become and you mix the two things together, the mindset and the actions. The actions always follow the mindset. So you don't have to force the action. You don't have to wish for the action. You get the mindset and the action follows. Just like if you plant the seed in the ground in the spring, The sun shines, the rain will fall. You pluck out the weeds. That's about it. And that seed, via cause and effect, will do what it needs to do. So if you want to make a change in your life, you identify where you presently are and what that change is you want to make. Because there's a mindset that goes along with the change. Mindset, Neville Goddard calls it a state, a mental state. And if I say, well, it's a New York state of mind, you can tell me exactly what that means. Because the moment you hear New York state of mind, when you're dealing with somebody from New York, you tell me exactly what that is. It's a particular mindset. It's a mindset. It's a mental attitude. It is a state of mind. So the thing that you want to become in the world has a blueprint already. When Neville Goddard says creation is finished, that is what he means. That cause and effect are there and they're happening. It's as simple as that. So you get your mindset, you take your time, and you contemplate and you sit there and say, I know I want to become this. But what is that? What does that person behave like? What is that mentality of that person? And that is what you develop within yourself. That is how you become it. So you don't have to try to be successful. Because something is happening to you from the inside out when you walk in that particular state of mind, that mindset, that mental attitude. Something is happening within you. What's happening? Scientists would tell you that you are, quote unquote, rewiring your brain. A fancy word for it: neuroplasticity. That's the word of the day. But neuroplasticity is the law. It is the law of mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is mental. Because as within, so without. Whatever that thing is inside of your brain that you have rehearsed and done for so long, that is who you are. And because that is who you are, it is how you will behave. So in order to change it, you've got to go to the point of origin, which is cause. It is the mental attitude that causes. So trying has a particular state of mind, a mental attitude. It says it doesn't matter what I do, nothing will change because I keep trying. I keep trying. So you meet with frustration every single time, all because of that word and what the word implies. Learning and rehearsal implies you will do. Trying implies I'll fail and I'll have to do it again. Throwing mud at the wall to see what sticks. So ease up on yourself. Ease up on yourself and always examine the self to get the mental attitude. I cannot stress that enough. But Angela, you tell us the same thing every day. Well, the laws don't change. It is the learning of the law and the application of the law, because it is a lifestyle. It is not a flash in the pan. Oh, I'll just take out my manifestation wand and I will bibbity bobbity boo, That's not how it works. You are the cause. You bring about the effect. The moment you identify the cause, every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. There is no blame, there's no guilt, there's none of that because that's a different state of mind. If you're ashamed or you're guilty, what are your mannerisms like? As within, so without. You're going to have to behave in that fashion. And then you'll end up doing things and you're like, ooh, yikes. So it is a beautiful thing to start with your mental attitude, not just for this or for that, or maybe over here. No, it has to become your lifestyle. This is what is so beautiful about it. It has to become that lifestyle for you. A farmer doesn't just get up and say, well, I'm going to be a farmer. Well, I'll try to be a farmer. He'll try to be a farmer, or will he be a farmer? That's a different mental attitude altogether because you got to get up with the birds and you're going to have to step in and scoop up a lot of poop. Trust me, a lot of poop. Who knew chickens pooped so much? Who knew? But they do. So you've got to get your mind around that fact. It has to become a mental thing. But yet, we say, well, I will try. No. And we always want to quote Yoda. We always want to quote Yoda, but we don't want to understand Yoda. What good is a quote if you can't comprehend it so that you can apply it? So, when you say, I'm going to try, the implication is you're not doing. When you say, I am learning, the implication is I will do. So look at your life today. Examine it. Examine your life. What is it that you're doing that you don't want to do? Let me tell you something, Linda. Whew, I got a little heated yesterday, and I was just observing. I was just observing because perceptions are funny. Perceptions or judgments blind the eye. You don't see the person in front of you. You see your perception of the person in front of you. So trying is a perception. So it causes you to see something that's not easily accomplished. When you say, well, I'll try, I don't know about that, I don't know how it's going to work out, but I'm going to try it. It causes you to see, right? It causes you to see something that you think is super challenging. Whereas the perception of learning, well, as long as I learn it, I'll do it. As long as I learn it, I'll do it. Learning frees you up so you don't feel so overwhelmed because then look at it. Oh my God, he's so cute. He's learning how to walk. Oh, he's learning how to crawl. He's learning, which tells you you're going to do it. So don't try to change your life. Learn how to change your life. And here's how you do it. Step 1. Where are you now and what are you doing that causes you to say, oh my God, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't like it. What causes you to say that? Clearly, you're displeased with it. Great, you've identified it. Don't judge it. Talking about, oh my God, I'm such a loser. I keep doing the same thing all the time. Yes, and don't we all? Yes, we do. So you see, you've identified it. Now, there are no voids, there's no holes. So, what do you want to replace that thing that you're presently doing with? What do you want to replace it with? What do you want to do instead? Who do you want to become instead of that you presently are? Now you identify that. And when you identify that, you abandon yourself to it. Because you're learning how to be it. There is no time to be like Lot's wife, to turn and look back and go back to what. This is why she became a pillar of salt. It's not a literal pillar of salt. It's telling you that that neurological pathway of the old is so set that if you go back to it, you will freeze and stay right in it and continue to do it. That's what it's telling you. So the key here is, once you have identified the new person that you want to become, there's a mental attitude that goes along with that. So you abandon yourself to that mental attitude, and you learn that mental attitude, and you rehearse that mental attitude. Why? Not because you're trying to be cute, but because in that rehearsal, your brain is rewiring itself. But you've got to remain there. What do you mean by remain, Angela? You've got to get up in the morning and deliberately choose to rehearse the new mental attitude, the new state. And anytime you feel yourself slipping, because it is natural, why would it be natural? Because the new thing has not yet quite solidified itself. Meaning you haven't quite memorized all the lines yet, where you can quote them verbatim. It has not become what we would call muscle memory. So that's why you remain in that place mentally. Now, remember what we learned. You see, the principle of rhythm tells us ebb and flow. The principle of vibration tells us everything moves, nothing stands still. So, in order for you to set down this new neurological pathway, you make it a habit. And a habit is what compels us to do what we do. Which now, because remember, you can't maintain or sustain positivity all day, every day. But if you make a habit of it, that's what you are. If you make a habit of complaining, when you get around that person, all they do is complain because it is their habit. So, in order to facilitate your change, you identify what you are and you choose what you want to become, because they're just mental attitudes. And I love this word, you abandon yourself to it. You surrender to the new person you want to become, that new mental attitude. And you make that new mental attitude a habit. Well, now we make habits by repetition. Yes, we surely do make habits by repetition. Doing it and doing it and doing it, right? You do the same thing the same way every time. Yes, that's how one forms a habit. But there is a little tiny bit of a shortcut, just a wee one. The way you make me feel. Yes. You see, when you feel, yeah, when you feel it, can you feel it? Can you feel it? When you feel it, when you are so convicted by it, what would have taken you 6 weeks to do, you can do in a moment's time. What are you doing in a moment's time? Setting down a neurological pathway. What are examples of that? For instance, you meet some women, they get pregnant, maybe they were drinking. I remember my workmate when she was pregnant. My girl said, this has been the longest dry I've ever had to be. But what caused her to do it? She didn't want to harm her baby. There was a conviction there. She says, no, I shall not. And she just did it. She just said, nope. My brother-in-law, another example, he used to smoke. And one day he saw a man in a picture with part of his jaw missing because he had developed something from smoking. And my brother-in-law said, I'm done. Cold turkey, never smoked again. Ever. Not even remotely tempted to do it. Because what he saw convicted him and he felt it. He felt it. So the patch, the gum, he didn't have to go through any of that. So the thing that you want to become, the person that you want to become, has to move you so much that you say, I'm done with that old. And right there in that moment, you become. So those are the two ways that you're going to do this. And the beautiful part of it is you don't have to force either of those ways because they will occur naturally for you. Because remember, rhythm compensates. How far you go to the left is how far you come back to the right. It doesn't do too much and it doesn't do too little. It just matches. That's the principle of rhythm, the ebb and the flow, the intensity and the expression of the intensity. So the way that this thing moves you to become it is how quickly you'll become it. Not because you force it, but it's because you felt. It moved you. And here's the thing, it doesn't move you. We look at it and we say, well, they were moved to act. Right? The way they acted tells you the way they felt. It shows you the way they felt. You see the principle of rhythm at work. If it moves you a little, you'll act a little. But if it moves you a lot, well, you will act with passion. Remember the Rodney King riots? Yeah. Oh, they were moved all right. You see, you are not the only one who knows the principles. If you don't know the principles, you have to understand the principles are always at work. The one who knows them and uses them to bring about the change in their life, that's the powerful person. But the one who uses the principle to manipulate, to get you to act, that's the coward. Why? Because true power has nothing to do with how much you can make somebody move and do what you want. True power has to do with how can I bring about change in myself? That is where the power is. But we have been convinced that the power is outside of us, when in actuality, the power is on the inside. Inside out. As this principle of correspondence would tell you, as within, so without, as above, so below. So your mental state. But Angela, what if I have ADHD? It just means you haven't trained the mind to focus. You see, when your grandmother used to pinch you in church, okay, let me say it this way. When my grandmother used to pinch me in church, because I was a little fidgety, she gave me something to do. I don't know how she knew, but she just did. She gave me something to do. She said, oh, you can't sit still. You're going to learn these hymns and you're going to sing. That'll give you something to do. And so that's what I did. And when Right from there, I was naturally intrigued to learn to play the what? Tambourine. And I learned. So now all of a sudden, I didn't have a problem with focus. You see, you have to it's not even a forcing. She just polarized me. She pointed me in a direction. But we're so quick to judge ourselves. Oh, the way my ADD is set up, the way my ADHD is set up. Oh, I'm neurodivergent. What? All brains work the same except if it's been physiologically damaged, meaning like physiologically, it's been hurt, it's been bruised, something's been done to it. We process information differently, but the brains work the same. You know, the is it the cerebellum? I forget. The part that's like a cauliflower. All this deals with balance. Every brain you go into, that piece of the brain always deals with balance. They tell you the left side is for motion and the right side is for the artistic. Did I get that part right? Any brain you go into is going to have that part. So they work the same in their actions, like legs are for walking, right? Dancing, mobility. They work in the same fashion. But how we perceive the information and what we learn to do, we limit ourselves with words. But there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. As within, so without is the reason. If I can hold you in suspended animation with the word trying, you will never do. And this is why people tell you words are spells. And it's not that they're spells or that they're not spells. It is the implication. It is what the word causes you to do. Every cause has its effect, and every effect its cause. What does that word cause you to do? Trying causes you to build frustration to know that you'll never accomplish it. Learning, on the other hand, sets you free to say, once I get it down, I'll do it. And how do I know I got it down? I rehearse, I practice. So you are doing. So today, as you go through this day, what you trying to do? Nothing. But what are you learning? I'm learning this and I'm learning this. Why are you learning it? So I could do it. That's the point. People say, oh, change is hard. No, it is not. Change will do you good, right? Change will do you good. Everything changes because it's the principle of vibration. It can't stand still, it has to move. So, in order for it to move, it changes from where it is to where it's going, which is the principle of polarity. And when you look at how it moves and you see the rhythm, the ebb and the flow, the pattern, you know what you're looking at. You can identify it. Oh, you say, oh, that's a rose. Oh, that's a dandelion. Because it has a particular pattern, a way of unfolding. Mental attitudes, mental states of mind are exactly the same thing. They have a way of presenting themselves in the world. They have a way of presenting themselves in the world. So, which mental attitude will you learn and apply? Hmm? There's a scripture, part of it just ran through my mind, and all these things shall be added unto you. That's the principle of cause and effect. You see, because we get caught up in things, things, things. But if we look at the effect, what effect would you like to experience? Stop looking at the thing. Don't look at the car. Don't look at the man. Don't look at the woman. Don't look at the house. Don't look at the job. Look at the effect of what it is you want to experience. The effect brings about the cause. The thing, you don't know how to get a thing, but the effect of it. This is the difference between trying and learning. The effect. What effect would it have on you if you had a homestead? You owned your property or you had a great job. What effect would that have on you? How would it make you feel? That is where you point yourself towards that effect because you'll start to act now from that mental attitude. As Neville Goddard would say, you are now living from the end. You are acting as if. You see, now when you hear acting as if, we think pretend. But that is not the case. The mental attitude, I like this guy, 2020, him and his wife, Victoria, cool cats. He always says, I live as a loving husband. That's my state. I live as a loving teacher. That's my state. How does a loving teacher behave? Well, they have patience because not everybody gets it the first time, the second or the third, or the fourth, the 100th. No, but there's a level of patience, right? There's a passion to see them light up as they get it. That's the state he lives from. He says, I live from the state of a loving husband. Him and his wife laugh all the time together. They talk about things, right? They're a team. They're respectful of one another because that's the mentality of a loving husband. So he lives from that place. Well, they'll tell you when they stumble. That is the effect he wants out of life. And because that's the effect he wants out of life, the things that come along with that show up. The car, the house, the money show up because they go along with that effect. So if you learn how to get your mental attitude, if you learn what is that effect, what is that behavior like of me? Neville Goddard put it so beautifully. He says, experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman that you wanted to be. He said, do what? Experience it in imagination, which means the mental attitude. Because imagination, it is unseen by the naked eye. So it has to be mental because you can't see it until you act upon it. So we don't try to get our mental attitude. We learn the mental attitude. We rehearse the mental attitude because it is in the rehearsal that you make the memory. Hello? It is in the rehearsal that you make a memory. Now, where do we live from? Memories. What are memories? Neurological pathways of learned behavior. That's what memories are. Neurological pathways of learned behavior. So that's what we live by. So in order to lay down a new neurological pathway, then you are making a new memory. This is why, Mr. Anderson, why do you persist? You persist because that is what it takes to lay down a neurological pathway. You persist in the behavior, the mental attitude. That is what will change your life. Anyway, YouTube is telling me, girl, you've been talking for 45 minutes. That's okay. My dough is resting. It's got another 15 minutes, and then I will stretch and fold my dough. Because it has to rise for 12 hours. Listen, I'll be gone for most of the day. So, the dough will be just fine. Listen, once it rests, there's nothing more I can do until it has reached its peak. I can't force that peak to happen. I just sit back and let it. What else am I going to do? Such is life. But the inevitability is the same thing. This is why Habakkuk 2 verse 3 would tell you every vision has its appointed hour. And listen, you will learn that when you start making sourdough. When you start using and learning about sourdough, you will learn that you don't have any control. The temperature, the cooler it is, the longer the rise, and the more tart. Because it ages the bacteria, the lactobacillus ages and brings about the tartness. The warmer it is, the faster it cause and effect. The warmer it is, the faster it rises, the less bite it has. How do I know that? Observation, learning. So you take your time. You identify the change you want to become. Identify it and say, ooh, I want that. That's who I want to be. Now that you know what you want to be, there's a mental attitude that goes along with it. Rehearse that mental attitude. Walk in that mental attitude. How many times can you do it in the day? Remember, you're making a habit. How many times can you do it in the day? How long can you do it for? Well, just practice. What happens after you've made a neurological pathway? Well, then you don't have to practice anymore. You will just continue to do what you've rehearsed. Thereby, you've become the change that you identified. You became it. You have to become it. And there ain't no rush. It's actually quite a joyous thing because let me tell you, I'm making cinnamon buns, but focaccia style. Ow. Oh yeah, I saw the video and I said, "Ooh, I can make that. Just give me a recipe. I can make that." And that's what I'm doing. How is it going to turn out? I'm not hoping for the best. Follow the instructions. The sourdough will do its thing. And you know what drives me? The taste. The smell of warm cinnamon buns lathered in icing. Oh, yes, that is the mental attitude. That is the mental attitude right there. I hear you, sugar. I hear you. I hear you. So you see, every vision has its appointed hour. It will ripen, it will flower. If it be long, wait. It will not be late. That's not there to pump you up and make you feel better. That's there to tell you that what you're doing, you can accomplish. That's what it's telling you. You can accomplish it. So stop it out here in these streets talking about, oh my God, I can't. Oh, I'll be trying. Every time I say the word try, I can see my grandmother's face. You trying my patience, not trying. You trying my patience. And sometimes I sit there and I just laugh because her facial expressions are something else. So we don't try, my beautiful friends. We learn and we apply what we learn. Oh, yes. There's a beauty in the application. Who's here? And then we're going to go because that dough is calling my name, talking about stretch and fold me. Stretch and fold me. Ow. Listen, that is the best part. That's the best part. And it's the more you work with it, because sometimes you can be tempted to add more flour. Don't do it. Don't do it. I learned the hard way. Don't do it. It feels a little sticky at first, but the more you work it, the gluten builds strength. The more you work it, it builds strength in the dough. And you begin to feel how the strength builds in your hand of the way the dough responds to you, stretching and folding, stretching and folding. Yes. So you can learn these principles anywhere. Cooking, walking, talking, dancing. You can learn the principles anywhere. Yes, you can. So, who's kicking it with us this morning? Ray is in the house. Mr. Custom is in the house. Hello. KZ, my sweet. I see you. Miss Deborah was here, was she not? Or was I did it was just my imagination? No, I think I saw her. Miss McQueen. Hey girl. I see you here in these fan base streets. Fan base is working today. I offloaded and re-uploaded the app. Sure did. Melly Mel is in the house. I can't really see my chat, but Dark God. I've never said your name before. Hello. Welcome to the space. And that would be Lil Bit. Yes, he's a real rooster. And he does live indoors, don't ask. He's got a bum leg, so he can't walk. But fancy enough, he can chase me though. Talking about, I'm gonna get you. Oh, this Rue. That's okay. I love him though. He is sweet. A lady laid an egg yesterday. Oh, she sure did. Lady laid an egg. I forgot to count how many days between the last time she laid and this one. Damn it. I know she'll lay 9 though, because that seems to be the consistent number. She'll lay 9 eggs, 1 egg every day for 9 days, and then she'll stop. So then I'm going to have to count next time to make sure I know when it is. But anywho, perhaps even Mr. Stafford Jr. would be here. I don't know. What about Liza, the better man? Jeff, are y'all there in these YouTube streets? But oh, look at Twitter. Twitter be bumping today. Hello? It's not Tumbleweed Twitter today. We got It's Symmetric in the house. Yoda Green is in the house. And T-Bog is in the house. Well, hello, hello, hello. Listen, I know it is early. How early is early? He's early. I don't even have the blind lifted up in their room yet. Yes, they have their own room. Don't ask questions. I saw because I'm part of these chicken groups, and I saw these people. They have because of the snowstorms they've had. They brought their chickens indoors, inside these tents. Oh, it's the sweetest thing. Chickens have such a personality, you know. They just do. Oh, they really, really do. Child, if I come in there to get you, he's gonna get me. Oh, jeez. If you hear me in here running some days, and when I get down the stairs, I say, "What's wrong with you? Why you gotta chase me?" What did I do to you? And he looks at me and then goes, bah, bah, bah. And I'm like, oh, I said, don't you talk back to me, sir. I tell you, he is something else. Anywho, there's never a dull moment around this house. Never a dull moment. I'm sure they'll sing that egg song soon. But what you gonna do today? Hmm? You will identify this thing that you don't want to be anymore. And then you will decide what you want to be instead. And then you will experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. And what's that look like? The mental attitude. Get the mental attitude and you will act accordingly. You won't have to force your actions. Just get the mental attitude. Why? Because it's the cause, and the cause always brings about the effect. So your change, my beautiful friends, is inevitable. And as always, positivelyangela.com. You can write me and tell me all about it. Because I'm excited. Listen, I will throw virtual confetti because nobody wants to clean that up. And I have swallowed enough confetti at surprise birthday parties that I don't use real confetti anymore. So I will be throwing virtual confetti for you as we celebrate your change. Oh, yes. The principles: mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender tell you that all things are possible. Why are all things possible? Because the mental attitude. The mental attitude. And with that, my beautiful friends, I bid you adieu because that dough, my dough is calling out. I'm a stretch and fold, baby. Stretch and fold. That sounds so naughty, doesn't it? Oh, stretch and fold. Hello. You know what? Let me not be crass. Let me not. But have some fun today, my beautiful friends. You know why? A merry heart does you good like medicine. And depression rots the bones. It does. You don't want that. A merry heart. You don't have to fake your merriness. You know why you don't have to fake it? Because you know that every cause has its effect and every effect has its cause. You don't have to fake it. It is the joy of knowing that now I can change. Why? Because as within, so without. As I am mentally, my mental attitude, well, then my actions will follow. You know this. You know that what you practice, you will perform. You know this. Any Kung Fu master will tell you, you practice, you'll perform it. You know it. So you don't have to fake it. Anyhow, you know how I get. You know how I get all heated. Not heated in a bad way. I just get excited because when you know that, how did you know? Because you learned to do it. You didn't try to do it. That's how come you know. You learned to do it. You didn't try. You learned to do it and you practiced. And you saw the change for yourself. So now you know that joy is not something you can fake. It happens as a result of, it is an effect. Joy is an effect. Countdown initiated. 5. Let's see if we can get him to number 1 today. 4, 3, 2. Wait for it. He's like, no, I shall not, mother. I know what you're trying to do. You see what I mean? Little bit. It's always be your kids. Jeez. It's be your kids. Oh my word. Anyhow, one. I love you. And I'll see you in the morning right here, YouTube, Facebook, no, what am I saying? Twitter. Twitter and fan base. 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And maybe I'll have enough time before I go to work to make me some pasta, make the dough and have it just rest until I get home and make some fresh pasta. Well, I got the sourdough starter. I might as well use it, right? Anywho, I love you. I love you. I honestly love you. See you in the morning. Mwah.